Where's the sound trip ever taken?
How many times do I need to tell you? No more shooting at pop-ups!
Warriors! Come out and play!
Represent family entertainment.
Who gives a shit?
Read the word!
There it goes. To Oddcast. To Bad Taste. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm Jokey Pants. I'm here again with Cerebral Paul. We're here to talk about more movies.
Yeah. To puke or not to puke. These were,
This first movie, I want to say is to puke, because it is not good. Well, I mean, to be fair, there are parts of this movie we're going to talk about here today that are okay. There are some ideas in here that are okay. They just did not execute this movie as well as they should have. Paul was actually telling me beforehand.
It's a remake of an old Vincent. It's a remake of an old Vincent Price movie.
That I think that drives me the most nuts. Is like it didn't follow anything of what it was remaking, which could be fine, can be okay in certain situations. This fucking movie though, like
they followed.
They had a good cast for the most part.
They followed the extreme core of the plot. The extreme core. You know, that was about it.
Yeah, so today, folks, we're talking about a movie. In case you can't tell, we're not that excited that we watched this one. We went back to the 2000s. So here's a history lesson for some of you younger folk, in case, you were growing up during this time, so you didn't notice. But the early 2000s were like, there were so many horror movies being remade at this time. Because it really was like just anything and everything was free game, it felt like. You had Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out, I think like 2 years before this. You had The Fog got remade at the same time. You had The Hills Have Eyes. Last House on the Left came out a couple years later.
The Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead stuff got remade about this period as well.
Yes. So like this early 2000s was just, for whatever reason, instead of making any new horror movies, this was a full-blown, like, what worked in the 70s and 80s, let's remake it now and add whatever dumb twist we're going to add. And not all of them are bad. There are some of them that are pretty fun, but the ones that work, which the next one we cover is one of these cases, is where the person who originally made the thing had a hand in making the new thing. So they're able to influence, like, no, that's not quite how that story would have been, or that's not quite how those characters would have been. So those ones worked, because then it was literally just the person who actually made the fucking thing is giving advice on, like, we could modernize it, but this would work. House of Wax didn't have that. House of Wax, they just said, what's that old movie that no one's touching and nobody wants anything to do with? We'll do it, but we're not going to do that movie. We're just going to call it that. That's right, about bugging it.
We're going to use the name for recognition purposes, but that's about it.
And that's all they did. So this movie, originally, as we said, there is Vincent Price. In 1953 did House of Wax. Not relevant to this at all. Does not matter at all that there was an older movie, as we were saying.
Except for what they did. Except for what's done to the victims at its core,
Yeah, we'll get into it with this one, folks.
But that's where it stops.
It's literally all they fucking did. Anyway, so the director is Wami Colette Sarah. Now, this person, oh boy, let me tell you, their credits, movies that they've made, are so all over the goddamn place. So we have House of Wax 2005. It's like the first movie that they got put in charge of. They then made The Orphan in 2009, which is another horror movie that's 50-50 hit and miss. People who like it and people who are like, that was kind of fucking dumb. I've heard both sides of it.
Was that the one with the girl?
Yeah, the girl who's not really a little girl.
A little girl. Actually, I like
It-
I like
based
that movie.
based on a true story. But
And
I didn't
because
hate
the
that one
actress-
either, but I've heard
because
50-50.
the reason that works is because the actress who played the girl woman really did well. She really,
I can agree with you there. I enjoyed that one. He then he also did
another one coming out by. I think there's another one coming out, by the way. I think.
Yes, there is another one coming. I have written down an upcoming movie he has coming that I don't give a shit about. But he also did The Shallows in 2016. So the
Never watched that one. No interest.
I did watch this one. This was another based on a true story. Girl who surfs a lot. She got attacked by a shark, and then it was her story about surviving the shark attack. It has its over the top moments in the end of it, but up until the end of it, where I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean? That's not how you'd kill a shark. Up until that point, though, it had me terrified. Because sharks terrify me, and he did pretty good at making like she's trapped in like a little reef bar and can't get back to the beach thing. I think he also did a shit ton of Liam Neeson. Now, why he did a shit ton of Liam Neeson, I couldn't fucking tell you. But he did Unknown in 2011, he did Nonstop in 2014, and then he did The Commuter in 2018. I've seen all three of those Liam Neeson movies, and they're almost all the exact same movie, just a different setting.
Yeah, well, that Liam Neeson's kind of getting to be known for that.
It really is.
And of those three, I think The Commuter is the only one that got any really
Yes.
good buzz about it.
Yes. Yeah, no, Liam Neeson, he's the same as God, I was thinking about this the other day. Jason Statham.
Right.
Where like they do like the one word title movie, and then it's basically just the same character in a different story.
What was there's one series of movies he did where basically it's like a science fiction thing where he's got to like take this drug or whatever, or he's supercharged. I can't remember, but he did a series of movies that were kind of fun.
Talking about Jason Statham with a Crank?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I like Crank 1 and 2. They're stupid, but they're funny to me. I don't know, I enjoy them. Let's see, what else? Jungle Cruise 2021, which he has a sequel that he's working on currently.
Jungle Cruise was not good.
Well, he's got a sequel, so get ready.
I couldn't even finish that movie.
I didn't even bother with it. But don't worry, because then he did Black Adam in 2022, which is another.
See, I liked Black Adam. I thought it had the bones of being a good movie. It had the bones of carrying on a good story.
There were parts that I was okay with.
Right.
As a whole, I didn't love Black Adam. There were parts of it though where I was like, oh, that is neat. That would have been a neat thing we could have played with, and then none of that went anywhere.
Plus I would have loved to see the fight between Black Adam and Superman. Like a lot
I think they should have just done that for that movie and not. Anyway, and then he also did Carry On 2024, which was on Netflix, which was a newer one.
I think I watched it, but I couldn't tell you anything about it right now.
It was just pretty okay. It was it's the TSA worker with Jason Bateman makes him take
that
bag
one.
onto
Yeah,
him.
yeah, I did like that one. Yeah, actually.
So his track record's like all over the place because you have ones like Carry On or like The Orphan, and then there's just a shit ton of Neeson and Jungle Cruise. So like, I guess it's not too much of a wonder why this movie's So back and forth. So the other notable things about House of Wax. So in February, we did My Bloody Valentine, which had one of two people who star in Supernatural. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing that back around because now we're covering Jared Padalecki as he covered in this movie 4 years before My Bloody Valentine would do what they did with the remake, and also 5 years before Padalecki would come back and do Friday the 13th. Of the two, I'd rather watch Friday the 13th than watch this one. I think he pulled a short stick when he decided to do House of Wax. I should have really thought about that.
Well, there was two other names that were really known at the time that they did this movie. I'm looking at them, and that would be Chad Murray.
I haven't known about him, but what do you have down for him being known for?
I don't have anything down except for he was. he was a name at the time. You know.
So for all
and then the other one we'll talk about after we talk about Chad. You know.
just for good old Chad. For those of you who grew up the way if you're like me and you grew up at this early 2000 time. You'd know this man's face from one thing and one thing only at this time. That is Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. Because he plays the record guy who falls in love with Jamie Lee Curtis, but it's actually Lindsay Lohan and her. It's that whole thing. But he's the boyfriend in that movie, and they brought him back for the sequel they did. Which, don't watch Freakier Friday. I can't say that enough. Don't watch it. It's so dumb and bad. Like, not that it was ever going to be great. They just took way too much out of the first Freaky Friday movie and then just added two new characters. And that was about all they did for Freakier Friday. And I was just like, really? This is literally almost the exact same fucking movie. You gotta be kidding me.
By the way, I wanted to add
lazy.
something to you. This probably wasn't your thing, but the other reason he was known at the time was because of One Tree Hill.
I wouldn't know anything about that one.
They were on the third season into One Tree Hill, so he was teen pinup boy at that time. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that one. I don't know, and unfortunately for him, I don't know anything about that one. But good for him. And go ahead, Paul. Who is the last big name in this movie?
The last big name at the time, because there's another name that would become bigger after this, would be Paris Hilton. This had to be stunt casting. Let's put her in something for name recognition. She can't act for shit. Yeah.
So what if I told you? What if I told you? She was the first person cast, and everyone else was casted around her.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
Yeah, that's a fun fact for this movie.
And what's funny is she is not the final girl in this movie.
No, she's not. She's not fucking anything in this movie. She's barely in this movie.
She was the main draw to get people into the theater. She was not the final girl.
It's really all Paris Hilton is here for. That's really it.
By the way, the acting improved much better once she was covered in wax. I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah, when she's not having to act, her acting is amazing. So the town that the town that the House of Wax uses, it's actually a town that they built in 10 weeks, and they modeled it after a World War II African village that was built by Italian army. So that is where they got that's the thing about the town. I don't know why they modeled it after that, but that's what they did. And again, this is going back to that this doesn't follow fucking anything about the original House of Wax movie. So, this is just, once again, they're just like, make up a town. So another person that's in this movie is Alicia Cuthbert, who she would become a name. I think it was like shortly after this movie that she would. She might have even been in some stuff before that. I knew her from this movie.
I'm going to look her up because she
I've definitely seen her.
She wouldn't look like she would normally look during this movie. You know?
She's actually a blonde who dyed her hair brunette for this movie.
Again, that was the counter again. I can guarantee you that was the counter against Paris Hilton.
Yes, because Paris Hilton is a brunette who dyes her hair blonde.
And so they want her to be the only blonde.
Basically,
in the movie type of thing.
Basically. Yeah. Which is fine. I think Alicia looks fine in this movie, so I think the brunette hair works. But the reason I bring her up is she was shorter than what Padalecki was, which was a problem when they were on screen together. So, what she did is she wore wooden blocks on her shoes, and every scene that they were in together, as long as they didn't shoot her feet, so that she and him were the same height, and it didn't look like, he was just towering over her, because he was like a little over a foot taller. So movie magic! They've made her look taller.
Yep. By the way, to give you an idea, okay, so one of the quote big roles she had before she had this, she was in 24. She was Jack Bauer's daughter.
Okay.
And she is in the whole season 2, and I'm sorry, I didn't care for her in that show because every time I rewatch that show, I keep hoping the cougar's going to eat her because they spent a whole lot of episodes with her being, chased by a cougar in a canyon.
Good.
She was annoying.
God,
she was
man.
an annoying character. She was an annoying character, dude.
No. So we got Brian Van Holt, who's playing our titular villains in House of Wax here. Which there's 2 villains. He's playing both twins in this movie. Which there is a thing at the end of the movie. There's more than just the twins, and they just didn't do anything with the idea. And it's one of the things where I go, that could have been a neat idea, and you just didn't fucking do anything. Supernatural also would later have Paris Hilton on the show, and they did it with a wax museum, so that it was a callback to this movie that they were in together. Fun. Anyway, moving on. So this movie had issues. I feel like most, movies that are cursed, whatnot, I don't hear this movie get talked about, but in June 2004, they were doing an effects test for the end segment of this entire movie, and a candle tipped over and ended up burning down the entire WB Australia set that they were using. And it got so bad that the smoke was all over the highway. And it was so bad, in fact, WB actually sued the special effects coordinator that was there that day for not doing a better job making sure that didn't happen. They sued him for like $7 million. They settled it outside of court, but that set things back for them. Also, this is just a little side fact, a little something I found out, and I was like, that could have been possibly the worst thing we could have ever seen. Tim Burton originally pitched doing a remake, but his idea for a remake was a musical starring Michael Jackson.
No.
I put everyone in the wax. Like, that was his idea. So that we almost got that instead of what this was. So, I guess be a little thankful we got this instead. So House of Wax, let's get into it. Let's get into this actual movie, huh? This fucking movie. So this movie opens, we start 1974. We go back in time to see a very messed up family that's obsessed with wax. It's really all they kind of really give you to go on here. Because it's his mom making a bunch of wax in a pot, kid eating breakfast, so they don't show you the faces of either kid, and then the brother gets brought up, and he's apparently fucking feral for some reason. He's just a feral animal. Never understood why his brother's so fucking feral for some reason. So that's really all we get to go on, and then we get House of Wax. And then it immediately cuts into early 2000s. We're right back. Folks, we are right back to what they did in Valentine, where this director looked and went, you know what young people are listening to? Listen to that thing called nu metal. Why don't we just go ahead and throw a bunch of that into this movie and not give a shit if it makes sense to be in there, if it fits the scenes? Who gives a shit? Throw in all the hot new music. Because let me tell you, when they cut to the highway and we go to the diner where we're going to meet everybody, they just blare Deftones, which doesn't bother me. But then I also have to sit there and go, this is 2005.
Well, it also
there
means
might have been a reason I
realize
like this movie.
When it's 2005, you realize that means it was probably all the stuff was done in between 2003 and 2004.
But anyway, so we get into a diner. We meet our cast. So we got Paige, played by Paris Hilton. We've got Carly, played by Alicia Cuthbert. We've got Carly's sibling Nick, who's played by Michael Murray there. We got Padalecki playing her boyfriend Wade. We got the stupid best friend Dalton. And then we got the show-off friend Blake, who's dating Paige. They're all college students headed out to a big old college game. Why the game isn't at their campus is fucking beyond me. They're headed off somewhere else. Well, I guess it could be an away game. But they make it seem like it's a very, very important game. Which is why I was like, why? They're making it seem like it's like your homecoming or something. And I'm like, wouldn't that be like at home for like such a big eventful game? I feel like, but okay.
It might have been like for some district title or something, for some.
You know what? It could be. They don't really tell you. They just keep saying they're going to a football game.
Yeah.
You don't really have any context.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to this fucking
movies
thing.
where they go to the high school, and that's the whole. They keep it all very generic,
This one they keep very generic in this sense. So yeah, they're just going to some college game. As they're driving, we get more shit because we get fucking Disturbed that plays for like 10 seconds here as they're driving for some reason. But Blake thought he had found a shortcut, so they're taking that, and then it turns out that the road shut down. They can't go that way. Oh, fucking shit. What do we do now? So they have to, like, take a side road. Which I assume is what the killers have been doing this entire time, which raises more questions for me when we get to the end of this movie, but, like... So we also... Sorry. Oh, we also learned that Nick, Carly's brother, we learned that he's a bit of a badass. He's a bad boy. He's a bit of a record. Causes a bit of issues there. But they're driving it super late. They decide, like, oh, why don't we pull over? We'll just camp for the night, like... What's the point of keep trying to go if it's super late? We're all getting tired, whatever. So they do. Everything's fine. You have, like, camp shenanigans is the best way I can put it. Where, like, they're just fucking around, throw the football, whatever.
Which to me doesn't make sense. They're going to a game, okay? They're going to supposedly a college football game.
Supposedly.
But they have enough stuff that they're going to have. They have their camping gear with them. What?
Gotta be able to party gate, brah. Gotta be able to tailgate, brah.
No.
Pre-game.
Bro, don't tailgate with a whole entire camping kit with them. Yeah.
Hey,
I
some
mean,
people
they,
do.
They may
Some
plan
people
on.
do.
They may plan on pitching a tent, but that's not what they were talking about.
Not later. So they goof off at the camp. We get Carly and Nick argue about why he's there because he got kicked out of college. So why does he even bother with the game? And he's a bad boy. Blah blah. Bunch of stuff here that won't matter by the end of the movie. But they end up getting a whiff of something very foul, and then they're disrupted, and then they're interrupted by a truck with super bright headlights. They can't get to go away. And Nick throws a football, breaks a headlight, and then the guy leaves. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you did it. You did such a good, like, yeah." And then his sister's like, "Don't inflate his ego. You just fucking vandalize that guy's truck." Like,
yeah. Yeah, you just broke the law in some backcountry area. Yeah.
The guy was super creepy. Yeah. Like, I kind of get it.
Nick! Oh my.
What?
Fun fact for this little scene here. So this is something I found out looking at behind the scenes, which I have another thing for behind the scenes, folks. I'm going to save you some brain cells. Don't do what I did. But the writers for this movie talked about at one point in their past they had to go basically camp out filming locations. They were at this random location. They were just kind of scoping it out. And they had this happen to them where they got a really foul smell and they were like, "Oh, what is that?" And then they had a truck show up that did exactly this and then took off. They held on to that for years. And then I guess it was making this movie. They felt like, why don't we use that experience we had? And like, that'll just basically be our opening to set up like there's a creepy killer somewhere in the woods. So, like, kudos to them. It's an interesting story to have to use. But also, from behind the scenes, a fun fact, folks. MTV at this time, in like the 2005 era, was super into promoting things, and Paris Hilton being involved. Oh my God. Boy, did they have to be involved. They have an hour and a half behind the scenes documentary about the making of this movie. And I thought to myself the other day, gee, Jokey, why don't you watch some of that? And maybe you can get some information on how the movie was made. I wanted to blow my brains out about maybe 10 minutes into it. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was so fucking bad. Like the first 10 minutes was literally just like they talk about there's a producer that was like paying for the movie, whatever, and they're doing like wardrobe check. And the wardrobe check is just this guy, like, God, early 2000s cringe, man. It's just the producer, like, drooling over Paris Hilton doing wardrobe, and the camera, like, looking at her in wardrobe, and then back at this dude just being like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, can we check her out in the other heels? Yeah, get the other heels. Get the other shirt." And I'm just like, who filmed this? And was just like, this is normal. This totally isn't a dude just creeping on a woman. Not at all.
By the way,
God.
MTV was so up their ass about this movie that they nominated Paris for an award. And luckily, she lost to Jennifer Carpenter for the exorcism of Emily Rose. And this movie was not good. Yes, now this movie, if you look at it,
this movie's not good at all.
Rating, but all that cult following stuff came later. When this movie first came out, nobody gave a shit
when this movie came out. I remember when this movie was coming out, and I remember everybody talking shit on it. Because Paris Hilton was involved, nobody cared. So, I feel like this may need some explaining too, for just in case. Paris Hilton was a pop culture figure in the early 2000s, especially, where she was just a rich chick with blonde hair and a little dog in a purse, and she would just go around and sell people fashion and perfumes and makeups and all that good stuff. You know exactly the type. They're the same type of people now that we have with the Kardashians, where they're just like, look at my nail polish, guys, buy it. Hilton was the original of that, where that's all she did.
Well, it was Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, and they had a show for quite a few years where basically they went and they would do, quote, normal things and be totally, because they were brought up in such an isolated way. You know, the idea of going to a Walmart.
Oh my God, a cow.
Yeah.
It's... There were decisions made in the earlier times, folks. Don't judge us. History will judge us.
I didn't make them, you know. But Fox used to, back then especially, Fox used to show all kinds of really bad crap.
This was a wild west of reality TV times, and Paris Hilton was one of the people who's right in the middle of it. Which I do want to bring up now, before we get to it. There is a sex tape thing in this movie, and I did find out it was written in there before Paris Hilton's sex tape came out. It was just her tape came out around the same time as this movie, and everyone assumed that it was in this movie because of that. And apparently that was the writers were like, we had already written that in. That was just a thing.
Yeah, and that's a good idea. That's hot, you know, and there we go.
You know, that's what I think, but hey, who am I? Also, yes, the mask is gone because it's just really hot, but I was wearing it initially because of the killers we have in this movie, but just bear with me, folks. I'm only a man. So they came out for they have the truck thing happen, the truck takes off, and then they're like, all right, fine, whatever, everyone go to bed. In the middle of the night, someone grabs Dalton's camera, because we do see earlier that Dalton has like a video camera, like one of the Sony whatever handhelds. Someone takes his camera and is like messing with people. They wake up the next morning and they go to leave, which they oversleep, which I feel like he says it's 2:30, and in my mind I'm like, I feel like the football game is probably like, what, already started? And you're just like, we need to go, we need to get there now. And in my mind, I'm like, you're already too late. It's 2:30 in the afternoon for a football game? That shit's already started now. Like, by the time you get there, it's going to be half game.
Again, maybe not. But
I mean, maybe.
Especially for the quote title games or whatever, they can run in the evening or whatever, but yeah.
I'm just thinking of like, it's a college game. But then again, it comes down to 2:30 in the afternoon. Like,
nah, college games run all day. I mean, yeah, apparently you don't watch football, but that's okay.
No, not college. I barely watch NFL. I watched it a couple years ago. I barely watched it this year.
But again, this begs to think, where were they going? So they were planning on this being an overnight trip, apparently. If the game was the second day,
you know,
again,
maybe
they
were.
didn't make that clear.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. They don't. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what they were actually doing with that? Who the hell knows?
Maybe a cartoon monkey's gonna beat you over the head with a monkey wrench, and you need to go to work tomorrow and just need to recover. But you need the W energy. That's what you need. The only way you're gonna get through. I don't remember what the nightmare juice is called, but if W's smart, they should try to get that and make it a fucking flavor. TM, you owe me for that one. Actually, no, you could have that one for free.
So yeah, go on over to W, show us some love, and let's get on with the movie. But when they go to leave, they find that the fan belt in the car is just like cut, destroyed, whatever, broken. So they can't leave. So that's a whole thing. We get Carly and Paige. I want to call her. I want to just say Paris Hilton. Carly and Paige use the bathroom. Carly ventures off because they get a whiff of that smell. And she falls down a fucking hill into a giant pile of roadkill.
Can we pause a second? Yeah, they're going to bring something in my room for me real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Hate to break it off, but yeah.
Get this here. Doop. Doop. Let's see. Roadkill. Yeah. So she ends up in a pile of roadkill. Which, as a kid who grew up with family that hunted, the smell here, God, it's like traumatically burned into my brain of how bad I know that smells. But they end up meeting a character here who doesn't have a fucking name. And it makes me fucking mad that he doesn't get a name. Because in the credits, he has no name. He is just Roadkill Remover. But he is a fucking character we'll find at the end of the movie, so he should have had a goddamn name. But whatever.
No way. What are you doing, man?
Anyone need a hand? I'm just fooling. It's not real, see?
But he shows up, tells them that there's a town about 15 miles away. They can go get a new belt for their car, and he can help them out. And they're like, okay, cool, great. So the gang splits up. Carly and Wade here, they go off. They're going to get the belt for his car. The rest of the group, they're going to go to the football game. Just fuck it. We'll go to the football game. Who cares? We'll catch you guys there. What great fucking friends, let me tell you. I also have in my notes here for this was a trope. I don't know why this was a trope in the 2000s remakes. But because she gets all bloodied, Carly's brother Nick gives her his shirt. That shirt being a white tank top. If you go back to the 2000s at this time, every fucking final girl had a white tank top. Why that was the choice of every final girl, fucking beyond me. But like Wrong Turn did it, Texas Chainsaw did it. Yeah. Pretty sure The Fog even at one point does it. Like they all did this where like the person who's the final girl just has a white tank top for some fucking reason. So I made that note because I was immediately like, that's who survives till the end.
By the way, quick note, two things. The car is a 1968 Dodge Charger. Nice car, by the way.
Yes, it is. I do like the car.
And Roadkill guy, this I mentioned to this before we started. So the next movie we're going to talk about also has to tie into the show Justified.
Yes,
this is our tie into the show Justified. Roadkill guy played Dewey Crow in Justified.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it watching it. Yes.
It's pretty much the same character. Yeah.
Essentially, yes. So they do that. Carly ends up getting creeped out by Roadkill guy here, which is fair. He's a very creepy guy. So she demands that they get out.
When they go to roll down the window and the door had open and the window don't roll down. Oh, that's usually a red. That's a red light. They get to a washed out part of the road, and he has to switch his tires over to 4-wheel, which I know exactly what it means. There's like extra hubs you have to put in place. But Carly decides instead they're just gonna walk up to the town from here if it's just around the corner. Like, it's fine. You're kind of creeping me the fuck out, so we're just gonna walk it if that's fine. And he's like, all right, whatever. He takes offense to it. And he's like, try to do something nice for people, but whatever. So they do. They continue to walk. No, but I want to point out that he adds to the creepy at this point. He steps out of the truck, reaches back in over them, grabs his Bowie knife out of the dash, and picks it up and just kind of holds it and then walked around the back of the truck. Yeah, it's like
this is a character where we call a red herring. And again, by the time you get to the end of the movie, you go, really was, because he could have, should have, and would have done a lot more than what he does in this movie by what they tell you.
Well,
but
here's
okay.
The other thing. I have a question though, because I just really watched this scene just minutes before we started. Tells you where I'm at. But I've seen the movie before. Why didn't they just slide out of his side of the truck instead of waiting for him to go around? It was an older truck with a full.
That's a good question.
Bench seat. Why not just slide out? Why sit there and go, oh, we gotta wait for him? No, don't gotta wait for him. Get the hell out of the truck.
You know, that's a good point. I did just that is a valid point. You know, I don't know. They're just not smart. They're not smart, which is made very evident just tells me soon.
The director's not thinking things through. What would a real person do? You know.
Well, so they do that. They go to walk into the town. The friends, meanwhile, we find are all stuck in traffic on the highway. So they convince Wade to just turn around anyway, because they were just like, we're not going to make it to the game. Might as well just go back for them, which is fair. You're not getting out of the traffic that we see. But also to turn around, I don't think you were going to be able to turn around either. So there are some issues with them coming in for the end of this movie. But so Carly and Wade check out this town, and it seems basic, small town, hillbilly, whatever. However you want to put that, simple and quaint. It's very quiet. They have like a pet store. They like make jokes about the puppies, and then there's looking at the different stores and whatnot. But they get to the gas station.
They were in the back country somewhere. In
somewhere.
Nebulous
I mean,
back country.
They check the gas station because they're trying to get the part. Because Roadkill told them there's a guy who owns it. Should have the part they need. Nobody there. And they can't seem to find anybody. So, you know, they check out the town. They're checking everything out. They make it to the church. Getting into the church, there's a funeral going. And, they're assholes. They ruin a funeral. And the guy they're looking for is named Bo. And Bo comes out and talks to him. Calls them assholes for ruining a funeral over a serpentine belt. He's like, you couldn't wait, I don't know, like 20 minutes for a funeral? They had to interrupt it? All right, whatever, man.
Again, I would have been
fair.
Natural anyway. When I went to the service station and nobody was there, I would have found the part I needed, left a note or even not, and went back to my car. I'm not gonna wander around the fucking town looking for people if they're not gonna.
We should go.
Yeah.
What do we do? Just wait out here?
I don't know. Feel kind of messed up waiting outside a church for a funeral to end. Hey, man, sorry about walking in. We didn't know.
Shouldn't have walked in.
Yeah, I know. It's just that we have car trouble. We're not from this town.
We were actually looking for a guy named Bo. He works at the gas station.
You found him.
Really? Well, we need a fan belt. We were camping up the road and...
A fan belt?
Yeah.
You walk in on a funeral for a fucking fan belt? Well, let me just go dump the casket in the ground. I'll be right there.
Look, we're sorry.
Yeah.
So that is where Bo tells them that he'll help them out after they're done. They just have to wait it out. So they go check out the House of Wax. While they're checking out the House of Wax, they find a whole bunch of very creepy sculptures, which is fair. Wax sculptures can be like that. But we get a jump scare on Wade by a dog that's real that he thinks is fake because everything's fake in the House of Wax. Even the house is made of wax itself, the museum. Oh, but it's real dog, so he gets a jump scare there. They find Vincent's name all over the little sculptures and things on the shelves and the various arts around the house. This is where we get Carly gets a jump scare by Vincent's reflection in the window. But then they can't find anyone, and then they're bored. So this is where Wade does what Paul said he would do, which is where he just goes and gets the belt, and he goes, fuck it, I'll just leave him money and a note, whatever.
You, I mean, I wouldn't have waited that long. Seriously.
I wouldn't have waited that long either, you know? Yeah, no, I get it. So...
Well, plus, if a small town is like that, where they're just going to leave their businesses open but empty because they're all at a funeral, something tells me that that's not the first time that somebody would pick up what they needed and left the money on the counter.
Yeah, no. They also, Carly also gets a phone call. She gets a phone call from the friends. They say that they're going to meet him at the washed out road because they couldn't get through all the traffic, so they're doubling back anyway. They're just going to meet him outside of town. They've got their belt. Great, we'll get your car fixed. We'll get back on the road. It's not going to work that way, unfortunately, for everyone involved. This is where...
if it did, it'd be a very short movie and be a better movie.
So Bo shows up, and then he gives them shit about taking the belt, whatever, and they say that they don't have the size they need. But Wade thinks he can make the size he has work. Bo tells him, well, I've got 18s, but they're just at the house. I got the shipment in, and, the funeral, I didn't have time to bring them down. So you just come up to the house, I'll get you the belt you need, and we'll get you on the road, blah, blah. Sounds good. It's too good to be true, though. But Bo takes him up to the house. And this is where, as a villain, I like this character, what he's doing here. Because as they're walking into the house, he tells them the entire story of the museum and the town. That the father, the husband, co-owner of the museum, was a doctor who did a lot of weird experiments and got disbarred. He moved here with his wife. His wife started the wax museum. Found that she really liked working with it, and she was really good at it. She was really artistic, but then she got cancer, and then she died. But she had 2 sons, but then they were left with a husband who was crazy. So, whole story of this whole thing about the crazy family and their children that were abused and blah, blah, blah. The whole story he's telling them as if like, yeah, this is the story of the wax museum in this town. It's literally his life story, him and his siblings. So, like, as a viewer, if you, like, not seeing this, you have no idea who he is. But yeah, he's just telling him his entire life story is like a fucked up killer telling you his monologue before he murders you.
Yeah. What do you mean, my brother? Yeah.
Yeah, wait till you meet my brother. Which one?
Trudy really found her calling with that whole wax sculpture thing. It was her dream to do something really incredible here. Then she had a couple of kids, take offense.
What's so horrible about that?
Yeah.
Trudy got a cyst in her brain. She just started rotting away. Couldn't work no more, and she went crazy. It got so bad that Doc Sinclair finally had to strap her to the bed. The whole town could hear her screaming from the house. And Dr. Sinclair was so depressed that he couldn't save her. He blew his head right off.
It's terrible.
It was worse for the 2 boys left all alone like that. They both ended up in foster homes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get to the house. Wade has to go use the bathroom, but then he wanders around the house because why not? It's an old house. Fuck it. This is where Wade, while he's wandering around the house, finds the old office that's a doctor's office, and we get Victor Sinclair, which I saw in mention. They said they named him Victor Sinclair as a Victor Frankenstein reference because why not?
Well, like Vincent is a Vincent Price reference directly.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Vincent Price for Vincent, and then Victor Sinclair for Victor Frankenstein because Dad liked experiments. So he's exploring this lab. Carly, on the other hand, she's waiting out in the truck. She's fucking around. She ends up getting out of the truck after turning on the headlights and noticing something. And she notices that one of the headlights is broken. Unfortunately, she realizes that he was the truck that was at the camp and messing with them, and he's probably not a good guy. A little too late, because Wade gets picked off by Vincent here, who has a trapdoor, and kills him in the dark. Because creepy. Can I just say, I don't like the design of Vincent. I don't... I get it's the same actor playing Bo and Vincent, but the wax mask thing that they do for Vincent's face, I get he has a messed up face, so he's wearing a thing. It just looks goofy to me. I don't know what it is with his wax mask thing going on, but he just looks a little goofy. I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, because to me it looked like they were going for almost for a Phantom of the Opera vibe type of thing, but you know,
it's in like that vein. I don't know. Take it for what it is, folks. I think Vincent looks kind of stupid.
Well, plus at the time that we see him, we don't understand why he's covered like that. It's like, is it just because
I mean, that's fair too. You know, it's even worse seeing this now. I watched that Peter Pan horror movie in the Pooh universe.
Oh, I haven't
whatever.
watched that. I started it, but I couldn't quite. I couldn't. I just.
You're better off not. The outfit that Vincent's wearing, same exact outfit that Peter Pan wears. So like that threw me off watching this. Is like they just took his outfit from this movie. So yeah, he kills Wade. Carly ends up fighting Bo outside because Bo tries to play off of like, I don't know, I guess maybe he's just taking longer in the bathroom. I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
I never understand in movies why they excuse the extended absence of their friends for some stupid reason,
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, at least Carly's smart. Like, she locks the doors so he can't get in, and the keys are in there, so she's got a free truck now. But she's an idiot but she does the whole backing up to like get away from him, but then she like backs it up off the fucking driveway, like drainage pipe thing. So the truck can't go anywhere, and it's like, you fucking idiot. Like
one wheel just spins because it's got that differential where if one wheel can't get traction, the other one won't do any shit. Yeah,
it's fucking. She makes me so mad in this scene. Is I'm like, you had your escape. You literally had your way out right there. Oh, but it's okay. She gets away. She's our final girl. She's wearing the white tank top, so she's not gonna get killed. This is where we get the whole process of how a wax figure is made on a still living Wade, and I feel so fucking bad for this man because this is so painful. Like, Vincent sews up the like gash marks on him, and we see him put like wax on his face and then rip off all of his hair, and then as if that's not bad enough that you've just been stitched back together and waxed, he then pins you into a chair that sprays hot fucking wax on you to cover you up and make you a new wax figure, and that has to be the most painful shit. Because as we'll see very soon, your skin does not last. Let me just say
that realistically, scientifically, I have an issue with this process.
Please, please, sir, please.
Because when we see the wax, it is literally boiling hot. Okay, it's not just warm; it's boiling. Also, come to find out that the wax used later in the film is actually a tub of peanut butter. but that's all. Which I would have been totally willing to lick off the Malaysia Kutku. You know, let me get that for you, babe. You know, but if the wax is so hot that it's boiling, and he goes through the process of making the skin as smooth as possible, as soon as all that really hot wax hits the skin, what's it gonna do? It's gonna bubble. It's gonna blister. We know how burns work, but not in this movie. No. Somehow we end up with the perfectly smooth wax covering. You know?
Seriously, I based on what we'll see later, I do agree that like like the skin, everything, like I think my critique to how Vincent's method here is, I assume that's why later on because there is a thing coming up really, really soon of we see the aftermath of things. So I assume that's why he looks like that underneath. But suspend belief, sure. My issue, much in the same vein as this, if the hot wax is being poured everywhere, how did his eyes not get cooked out of their sockets as they were being coated in that boiling hot wax? The rest of the skin, maybe he fixes it, but you see him looking with his eyes later, and I'm like, I feel like your eyes are cooked. That was boiling hot wax over all of your body.
Right.
There's I don't think your eyes work.
Let's say he sprays it out and he smooths it out or whatever. But then why remove all the facial hair? And did he stop? And the other weird, wacky, did he stop his facial hair, or did
I don't think
the guy get a full Brazilian? I mean,
I think he goes all out in his hair removal. But no, these are questions of why. But I mean, I guess maybe the hair but he only removes the facial hair. I don't think he removes the hair on his head. So what is
right?
And what is the point?
If the idea of the hair is so it's smooth, okay, then why? I would think where he stitched him up, that would have bumps and grooves and markings because
And maybe because he puts clothes on.
By the way, he
was
really good at stitching the body. By the way, those were some pretty clean stitches.
He's a lot of practice. A lot of practice. We'll find out. So Wade's dead. This is where Carly learns that the town is fake. Because after she escapes, she runs through the town and she finds that everything is made of wax. Everything is hooked up onto some kind of system to like a boombox that plays a tape with people talking, to rig systems for people to move. So she realizes she's kind of screwed because there's not a single goddamn living person in this town. Bo comes after her. He chases her off, and they get into the church. She hides from him almost well enough to get away. And I have to admit, I didn't expect where she was hiding the first time I saw this. Because he searches through the cathedral, looking for her, can't find her. He's about to leave. And then he comes back and finds her. She was hiding under the preacher's, robes. Which is not where I thought she was hiding. I assumed she was under the casket or something of that nature. So I applaud her for picking something I certainly didn't expect. He least expected. But obviously it doesn't work. She gets caught anyway. She gets taken to the basement of the shop garage. There's a sub basement down there. Straps her down, gets her all trapped up. She's not going anywhere. She could call for help. Can't have her doing that. So he super glues her fucking lips together. Because her brother and Dalton show up to the town. And they come looking around. Also, he plays the radio and he just blares it. It's Marilyn Manson. Once again, we're just leaning into the new metal of this time.
Don't move.
No, it's me too.
It's okay. Just stay still. Shame we have to close that pretty mouth of yours. Especially the way those lips curve.
But yeah, he's fucking super glues her lips, man. That's
To me, that had to be the freakiest scene in the whole movie for me, because that shit would hurt when you tried to.
as growing up white trash redneck the way I did, the amount of times I've seen my stepdad or other family members who like get a cut, and instead of getting a Band-Aid or getting any other type of treatment, the amount of times I saw people close the wound and then just super glue it and go, good enough. And then me just go, I don't know if that's exactly safe for the human body to just super glue all your open wounds, but okay.
Yeah. Though nowadays they do have medical grade super glue for just that purpose.
Yeah, which my stepdad's thing was always like, they got glue at the hospital, it's the same. And even as a kid, I'm like, I don't think it's the same. I think there's a difference, but all right.
Probably not, yeah. Plus, they know what they're doing, you know.
So can't find anybody. Nick and Dalton start to walk off, and then Bo comes out of the garage. Well, actually, Dalton and Nick split up. Dalton goes off to the wax museum. Nick is just kind of exploring around. He ends up running into Bo as he's leaving the garage. This is where Carly breaks free. She rips her fucking lips from the super glue, which is... God, that's just so painful. She also sticks her finger up through some grates by the gas pumps where they're talking at. But Bo sees the fingers before Nick does, so Bo just snips her fingertip off.
Ow.
Yeah, this woman just goes through hell right here. Rips her lips open, screams. Nick hears her. Nick can fight. Nick is, again, the bad boy, so he just beats the shit out of Bo.
Yeah.
Locks up the garage, saves Carly. Carly gets...
By the way, I will say that even if Carly hadn't already ripped her lips open, as soon as you snip the fingers off, those lips are coming open. I don't give a...
Yeah, no, it's just so painful. Everything about what she goes through, just everything's painful. So Dalton's in the wax museum. Dalton has no idea what's going on right now. Dalton is an idiot. Dalton finds Wax Wade. This is where we kind of get an answer to what happens. Because he tries peeling the wax off, and we see that he just peels all his fucking skin off. And everything underneath is just boiled and irritated and just... There's no way to get the wax off. Like, the wax is his skin now. Like, it is too late. Which I do have in my notes. I love the peeling effect that they have when he's trying to get the wax off him. And I like it even more when Vincent comes up behind him here and he goes to slice at him and he misses and he just slices part of Wade's face. It's such a gruesome, just sticky, like you see all the like, I love it though. It's such a cool effect. There are some cool effects in this movie. That is one of them where I'm like, that looks really cool. I like what you did there. But Dalton, obviously, he gets fucking killed here because he's an idiot. Yeah. So he trips, falls. Vincent fucking decapitates him. This is where we get Kathy and Nick. They explore more of the town. They find even more so that everything's rigged. And that's when it starts to set in for them that everyone in this town has been dead for a long time now. It should have taken you a shorter time than this to figure that out.
Oh yeah, as soon as I saw the group in the church, I'd be like, I'm out of here. Yo, we're a friend. Don't care. don't care.
Oh no, they do show. I was just about to ask how Vincent gets to the camp, and then I remembered they show he has the other truck later. But because now we go back to the campsite, and we get Paige and Blake in a sex scene because Paris Hilton, gotta sell her in this movie, so we got to do this whole thing. It does nothing for me, folks. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. But it doesn't matter. Vincent shows up. He fucks with him. My only issue with the kills in this sequence here, Paris Hilton's kill that comes here in a second, I'm okay with because I'm just like, whatever. Like, it's still kind of fun. But Blake, on the other hand, he gets killed off screen. We don't fucking see how he got because Vincent goes into the tent, and Paige turns on the lantern, and she sees that it's Vincent, so she freaks out. She runs. When she's running, she trips over Blake, who has already been stabbed in the neck, and I'm like, when did Vincent do? Like, I get Vincent's there because he goes into the tent, but like, there was no noises made whatsoever. Because also, Blake's not in front of the tent.
But remember, they did that in multiple, like Friday the 13th does that multiple times. There's a lot of movies that, all of a sudden or anything, but there's the dead body there, it's like.
But that's also why I have to question with Blake, because initially Blake is in front of the tent, but then when she's running, she goes around off to the left and then trips over him, implying that Blake was like running away and then got stabbed. But again, he didn't ever yell anything. So it's one of those things where I look at it and I'm like, he's like a good 5 feet away from where he was. So like, was he walking away somewhere? Was he running somewhere? Anyway, he's dead.
Yeah.
Paige gets chased. I had never understood what this building was. Because Paige just goes into some warehouse and there's a bunch of cars in it, and that's where she hides from Vincent. We find it, they'll tell you later in the movie, it's supposedly an abandoned sugar mill. It's just strange. I don't know. It doesn't look like one, so I always thought it was a parking garage by the way it's set up. They explain later it's an abandoned sugar mill that they've been hiding all the cars in, apparently. Regardless, Paige is a fucking idiot. So she gets a fucking steel bar with a jagged piece, and she defends herself against Vincent. But then instead of keeping the weapon that kept you safe, she just throws it and then runs for it. And then, like a fucking idiot, she only goes like 2 cars away and then just hides and is like, oh my god, I think I got away. I don't think he knows where I am. And I'm like, you're 2 cars away from where you slightly kind of grazed him. Doesn't matter. He throws a steel bar through her face, and that's the end of Paris Hilton. She takes a steel bar in the face.
We've all wanted to do that back then. Okay, I'm just saying,
Back in town, though, Nick won't be taken by surprise. He's smarter than that, because he breaks into the weapons store and takes the crossbow and some crossbow bolts. Because at least he's smart enough to be like, I need a weapon.
Sorry about that. My computer decided to have a window come to life that wasn't doing anything.
Oh my. Because Bo has a shotgun. So Bo shows up, he has a shotgun, shoots at him, they take the crossbow. They hide in a theater, which almost works for them because they kind of hide in the wax bodies. So it almost works. Bo starts firing. Obviously, he figures out that they're just hidden in the other wax bodies. Which, this is a detail I do like, is that when Bo shoots one of the bodies, every time you see the rotting corpse on the inside of it. So, like, we know that every single one of these is a body of some kind. But they outsmart him. They get into the lobby, and they ambush Bo. They hit him up with some crossbow bolts. They don't do the thing you should do in a horror movie, though, which is double tap your enemy. Because they're just like, he's dead. It's good. He's not. But they think he is. So they leave. They go to the house because, one, they need to find a phone. They could try to call for help.
By the way, quick note about the theater. The Usher wax figure is made up in honor of Vincent Price. Again, if you look at it.
Ah, okay, yeah. I'm going to go relook that one up now. So yeah, the phone that was in the truck is gone, so they assume it's in the house now. They need the keys to the truck, and they're also going to look for Wade because last they knew he was inside the house. So they go look for all that. I wouldn't have done any of that. I think I would have just gone for the washed out road that I know is there and just run for it and not spent any more time in this town. But hey, sure, let's go find these things. Carly ends up finding the childhood photos, and this is where we finally learn the history between the two brothers. Because there were news clippings they had shown before about conjoined twins and Siamese, whatever. This is where we get the photos that show that Vincent was attached to the back of Bo's head, and that their father detached them, and father was a mad scientist, so he kept, like, fucking with Vincent his entire life because he was just got a messed up face, so he became like an experiment. So unfortunate for Vincent, which I guess is why he's feral, I suppose.
I would probably maybe be feral if you.
That's the only thing I could assume, folks. Because
the last thing we see at the beginning of the movie, though, is he gets decked by Jay because he won't sit down. I mean, he gets. I mean,
yeah, they beat the ever living shit out of that kid. So we get the photos. We get to know more about these two killers in this movie. This is where Bo's not dead. Bo comes back. Bo takes care of the arrows he's got in his arm and his chest and whatnot. Vincent comes back, and this is where Vincent answered my question of how the hell he got to the camp so quick. Is he just took a tow truck that they had sitting around. Because he comes back with the other bodies, and then him and Bo get into a tiff about leaving without him and blah, blah, blah. Because Vincent is an animal, a less than human. But Bo notices that the photos are all over the floor and are not where they should be. So he knows that someone's in the house. Carly and Nick also know that they're figured out, like they know we're here. Nick finds the trapdoor, which goes to a tunnel system. So he takes Carly, and they go through there, and they try to escape. Where they mess up, though, is they find the power junction that, like, does all the power to the entire town. And then they're just like, I don't know what these do. Let me check this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. I get they want to get lights in the tunnels, but, like, for the love of God, folks, because they just start flipping all the lights in the town. So Bo's immediately like, oh, I know where they are. Like, there's only one place in the this entire town they could be. Oh. So yeah, that doesn't go well. They end up working their way through the tunnel. They end up in Vincent's workshop, and we see all the wax that he's melting, all his different gear and his gadgets and whatnot. Get into a fight with Vincent, and I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a fight because they just end up lighting a fire and they get away from them. They don't really have to fight them that hard. And then they escape, and you're thinking like, all right, well, whatever. Like, there's probably just gonna be Bo they have to deal with, right? Fucking goddamn right, they have to deal with Bo because Bo waits for them the minute they get upstairs.
Yeah.
But now they're in the wax museum, and that's a problem because there's a fire in the bottom that is now melting the entire wax museum because it's made of fucking wax. So yeah, the Bo gets into a fight with Nick and Carly. Nick takes a knife to the fucking just straight to the leg. But don't worry, because Carly comes in, she finishes off Bo with a bat, and she just obliterates this man's face. Which Vincent coming up notices that Vincent's not okay with that because he's the one with the messed up face. Bo's supposed to be the normal one, so he's not okay with this.
It's just like, stay in your lane, man. Stay in your lane.
Exactly. So Vincent chases Carly upstairs. The house is melting. Nick finally gets up off the ground and he comes to help. My only issue with this finale, like truly, honestly, the more I was watching it, was like, if this museum is melting this quickly to where like they're running and their footprints are there, like you see Bo melt through the floor, like he's dead. How were they able to fight Vincent in the top floor of this fucking museum for like a good 10 minutes while the bottom floor is melting and collapsing in on itself? This fight goes on too long for how quickly it's showing everything melting. I'm just going to be totally honest. I just want to point it out. Another big issue I have. This movie does great with practical effects on all their kills, with the decapitations and the cuts and whatnot. They CGI the ever-living shit out of Vincent's face, and I don't get that choice because it looks really bad. This man just has butthole face. I don't know how else to put it. It looks so bad now. Which, I remember when this movie came out, that was a complaint a lot of people had, where they did the reveal of Vincent's face, and everyone was just like, that looks terrible. Like, that just, it doesn't look good, and it doesn't hold up well. So that's my one complaint with The Killers, is just Vincent's CGI hole in the face never looked good, and it looks even worse now. But they kill him with the leg knife. Carly pulls out Nick's knife in his leg, stabs him. He's dead, falls in. So and they escape.
Nick's gonna bleed out, but you know.
Nick's gonna bleed out. So they escape the wax museum. They get out. The cops show up. Everything's golden. Everything's great. The cops even say that if the fire hadn't started and showed in the smoke, they would have had no idea what was going on. This is where the sheriff brings up the backstory that we didn't have before, which he says there was a sugar mill here in town. We found it out back a ways. Looks like that they've been doing this for years, because when the sugar mill closed down, the road washed out and the town was just kind of forgotten about. And these two apparently have just been killing here this entire time and hiding everything in the sugar mill. And all the bodies they've been turning into wax figures. So we would have never known of without the fire.
I gotta say, at this point, I would be like, Sheriff, you're really fucking bad at your job. Okay?
You guys are so bad at your job. They're detouring the road.
All these missing people have been reported through the area. Okay? Yeah. Over you're saying many years, you're saying all these people have gone missing. You've gotten all these things that have come through your system that say missing, and it doesn't dawn on you that, hey, something could be going on out here. Really, you
see. Now this is where we all talk our shit on Wrong Turn, but you know what Wrong Turn does? They acknowledge this, and they say in almost every movie the cops talk about, we don't let people camp here because there's issues with people getting murdered. Yeah. Meanwhile, House of Wax is like, I don't know, they've just been killing people for like 30 years. We've just had no fucking idea. They've been detouring the main road and everything. Like,
yeah. And nobody ever noticed that back in the real town. No.
Like, how did no one notice? Because that's clearly been their thing, is to just detour the road off. So, like, how did no one know?
Apparently, this whole county is like, not our monkeys, not our circus.
Fuck. So they get set off. They're happy. They're fine. Ending movie, great. Everything's fine, except this fucking part here. Because as they leave, and right before the credits roll, the deputy comes up to the sheriff and he tells him, yeah, it's weird. They said they killed 2 brothers, but according to the paperwork here, they had 3. As they drive by Roadkill, who waves at them, and it's just like, oh yeah, he was a 3rd brother that they never mentioned ever once the entire movie. And he also had no name. So you'd have no fucking idea.
Sheriff.
Yeah, Dave.
Ran the Sinclair family through CDIC. Trudy and the doctor didn't have 2 sons. They had 3.
Bo Vincent and Roadkill. That's because they never named him. But that's House of Wax. Not the worst of the movies that came out at this time, but it's definitely not the greatest. It has some issues. Surprisingly, Paris Hilton is the least of the issues that movie has.
Yeah, even though she had star billing, she wasn't in it a whole lot, really.
I can't believe they casted her first, because her character's fucking nothing. She's hardly in it.
That had to be, like I said, that was a draw to get that age group, her fan base, to go see the movie. That's all it was.
It has to be. But that's House of Wax. You follow us here, as always, at OddcastN. We have oddcastmedia@gmail.com. You leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want. I'd be really appreciative there. Or going over to Dubby and using that code that we brought up earlier in the episode, just to, show us support. You'd also follow Paul here at Cerebral Paul, except for on Twitter, because Twitter's an idiot, and you have to go Cerebral Paul 1. What do you do?
Can you believe somebody beat me to my name?
I honestly can't. It's available everywhere else. I can't. He also does stuff on Twitch, so go check him out on Twitch. What days are you using your Twitches there?
I don't know. Whenever I feel like it.
Whatever he feels like. So go look up Cerebral Paul on Twitch. Hopefully you've been enjoying everything we've been doing as of late. We had February with all the lovey-dovey. March we had Oddballs. We're doing remakes here. Hopefully you're enjoying. We're on a break right now, which you'll know by the time this episode comes out when you get the little Oddcast finale break episode. I'm in the middle of moving.
We're gonna find out that they're gonna allow Jokey back into the country.
Yep. But as always, don't prank your friends as a serial killer. Don't bury the dead under the road. Don't bring things back from the dead. Don't go in the sewer. Don't dump chemicals into the sewer. Don't wait around for the mechanic. Just take what you need, leave a note, Save yourself the murder. Stay on, stay happy. We'll catch you on the next one.